Okay. Next up we have Jane Reed, who is the Head of Life Science Strategy at Linguamatics. So Jane's going to give us an overview of text and analytics for genotype-phenotype associations in Hunter syndrome, which is another rare disease. So take it away, Jane.
Thank you very much. Well, I come from a different perspective in that I work for a company called Linguamatics, and we sell a particular software called I2E. And it enables you, anywhere where you have free text, to pull out the key facts that you need. It's a flexible, scalable analytics platform. It's using something called natural language processing, which is a way of using the linguistics. So you're not just trying to capture the concepts, you're not just doing a search and pulling back documents, you're pulling out connections, associations. It's a way of rapidly revealing structures. I'm going to really whiz through this introduction bit. Basically, where we're used is we're used a lot in biotech, in pharma, and in healthcare. Anywhere where you have a lot of free text, whether that's in electronic health records, whether that's in scientific literature or patents. And the way it works, my last introductory slide, is if you look at the sentence in the middle here, you've got a sentence that among them, nimesulide, a selective COX-2 inhibitor, does something. And from that, within that sentence, natural language processing, this linguistic processing, means that the software can find out what the nouns are, what the actors are. So you've got a compound, a mesylide, you've got a protein COX-2, and you've got a relationship. Here the relationship is inhibitor. It's not protein inhibits compound or compound is inhibited by, but you could capture those. But the software knows you've got a chemical, it can assign a structure. You've got a protein, it can assign an identifier, and it can rapidly, accurately go through your text documents, all 20 million Medline abstracts, whatever, and pull out the facts that you want. So why am I here today? As I said, a lot of our customers are the pharmaceutical industry, and this is a use case from Shire, and they do a lot of work on rare disease. And this is specifically from a webinar that one of our customers, collaborators, presented, looking at Hunter syndrome, which it's, I don't know very much about it, so please don't ask me questions on the biology. But it's a rare X-linked recessive disorder. It's a lysosomal enzyme deficiency. And it's a systemic disease. So for a lot of the periphery type symptoms, they can be treated using enzyme replacement therapy. But one of the really important manifestations is because it's systemic, there's a lot of build-up within the central nervous system. And of course, if you're looking for enzyme replacement therapy, a big molecule can't get through the blood-brain barrier. So Shire are looking at clinical trials where they're looking at trying to work out which children would benefit from quite an invasive treatment, i.e. being able to penetrate the blood-brain barrier to give the enzyme replacement therapy. And just as we've heard today, there's a big problem with anything when you start looking for rare diseases, because if you're trying to get this critical association between the genotype and the phenotype, there's just not a lot of data out there. So in this kind of case, you're really trying to pull every single needle from the haystack. So there's a paucity of knowledge around natural history, it's sparse data. And again, one of the big problems with when you're trying to pull out information from textual sources, you know yourself, the way people will describe things in literature, they'll never make it easy, they'll never make it standard. The way mutations are described, there's many different ways of language around one particular mutation. The way they're presented in an abstract or in a full text is very different. It could be in a sentence, it could be tabular. So being able to pull all this information together to get to this essence, this link between a specific genotype to enable diagnostics of the phenotype is very hard. And just some sort of examples. I mean, you guys must have read 1,000 abstracts, but you're looking for these sort of little nuggets. And you either have to use keyword search and pull out all these documents and then read them, or the sort of software that we could provide takes all that and structures it. So you get a nice table of information. So what they were able to do, so you can look at our website, there's a webinar, it's a really nice webinar by this guy Madhu Natarajan. Go and look, he developed a workflow and it's using the vocabularies and the ontologies that come with this text mining tool to really pull out all the different information. And they found that using this text analytics was able to provide them with a much better view that's actually being able to go back into the clinic and really be able to use this for better patient awareness and for provider diagnostics. So there you go. Text analytics for rare disease. It's not an easy nut to crack. You all know that. But, and text analytics can only help with a little bit. It's around that critical phase, that understanding the natural history, drilling into the mechanisms. So, last slide. If you want to know any more, if you're in Cambridge in April, come visit us. Thanks very much.